Hey guys, what's going on? Today I've got this Lietheli, something like that, Chinese brand, battery operated chainsaw. We cut down that 75-foot pine, and obviously some of the stuff is just way too much to handsaw. I did get an awesome electric corded, really small blade uh, chainsaw from Habitat for Humanity Restore. And that was great for some of the smaller stuff. And it's kind of pushing it on an extension cable. Like even with 100 feet of cable, I can't quite reach most of the stuff. And it's just the blade's nowhere near long enough to actually cut a lot of what I needed to cut. Well, for my birthday in March, my mother had given me this Litheli pole saw that she got on Amazon's layaway kind of thing. It's not layaway, but they call it like payments or something, where it's basically layaway. Amazon being Amazon, she brought it over to me. I didn't ask for it. She just thought she was, help us out. It's my birthday gift. I told her I didn't need a gift. And of course, I opened it and it was missing the battery and charger. Someone had returned it and stolen the battery and charger out. They did not verify that nothing had been taken out and they reshipped it to me. So since my mom had done this, I didn't want to tell her. And, I didn't want her to, feel stressed out or bad or whatever. So I just went ahead and bought the battery and charger. I'm sorry, it had the charger. I bought the battery. The battery was like $85 or something. And I'm like, whatever, I don't need this thing, but I can probably use it to cut some smaller branches that are already on the ground and stuff. Cool. So the battery comes, I charge it up in the charger. The charger it came with also had been damaged, I think, because it smelled horrible when I plugged it in. Whatever. So then I go to assemble the pole saw, and oh, that was not the only thing they stole out of the package. They stole the chain out of the package. They stole the thing that the blade actually attached to on the pole. So it was the pole, the blade itself, the sheath for the blade, and the charger, and that was it. So at this point, I had to tell my mother. I told her, I asked her, I'm going to return this, blah, blah, blah. Can you give me your Amazon login and stuff? And I told her, it's missing the battery and charger. Didn't tell her that I bought the battery and stuff because why stress her out, whatever. I'd eat the cost. It is what it is, right? So I did that. I went ahead and returned it and stuff. She got her money back. Then I had the battery, and then I started thinking about it, and I'm like, well, let me see what tools this company has since I already have one of their 40-volt batteries. And they had an electric chainsaw, a battery-powered chainsaw, and I was like, well, it's almost as much as a cheaper gas one, but I already have the battery, and I don't have to do as much maintenance on it, basically just oil it and tension the chain and stuff. So I was like, I'll go ahead and order it. If I only get the use out of it for this tree, it'll probably be worth it. We lose branches all the time. It might not be the greatest thing. Well, it came. So now I have two batteries because it came with one, which is great. The batteries do seem to have some sort of like heating protection. I used it for maybe 5 continuous minutes yesterday. I cut a lot. Like that would have taken me several days to cut by hand. So it did a lot, but then it would run for like 3 or 4 seconds and then stop, run for 3 or 4 seconds. So I just figured the battery was dead. I tried pushing the little battery indicator on the back and it didn't do anything. So whatever. I had to get some other stuff done. I had a meeting coming up. I just wanted to test it after I put it together. Cool. So I ran inside and I put it on the charger and it was done charging in like 15 minutes. And I know when I charged it originally, it took an hour, hour and a half, something like that, because the fan runs on the charger to keep it cool. And it was doing that the whole time. So what I think happened, since it charged so fast, is the battery was quite warm when I took it off the chainsaw. So I think it has heating protection, has a diode or something in there, a thermistor or something that's, measuring the temperature, which if that's the case, that's awesome because then it's protecting itself. And if not, it's still got a lot done. I mean, they're only 2.5 amp hour batteries, so that's nothing crazy. I mean, it should cut a lot. And I was cutting fairly wet pine still, and I did cut some pretty big pieces, which I'll show you. But I was overall pretty happy with it. Now I'm going to actually show you what it looks like and stuff, since I've waxed long about it for almost 5 minutes. So yeah, let's go ahead and take a look at that. So here we've got one of the batteries, and we've got the charger. Um, you know, this is definitely some cheap plastic. Like, it's heavy, but you can tell that all of the weight is just like right in here. Like, I think this is pretty much all empty. I'm not going to take this apart. I'm not AVE or any of these guys. And honestly, angry pixies terrify me. I don't exactly want to shock myself. It is nice because this is rubberized, so you're not scratching a surface when you set it down. But, you know, it's just telling us that it's a 40 volt, 2.5 amp hour, 90 watt hour. Use only for charger, blah, 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 made in China. If it is 2.5 amp hours, I'm not exactly sure. I'm not going to try to find out. It did what I needed to. This thing's kind of a beast. The battery fits in nice and locks solidly, and then you release it here. This keeps it in the tool too. I do like, though, that when you plug this in, there is a considerable fan in here. At least it's loud, and it's moving quite a bit of air, which is nice because it's keeping everything cool. You know, I have some DeWalt tools, just like a cordless drill and stuff, and their charger's anemic and tiny. It does not have a fan. So maybe they're putting a cheap fan in there to help with longevity of some cheaper components, or maybe they just, you know, it's like, hey, we're putting a lot of power in here real quick. Let's keep it cool. So yeah, that's that. And then, you know, here's the saw itself. It's, again, it's real cheap plastic. It does have a considerable weight to it. So, you know, they're not skimping out on metal anyway in there. Biggest complaint I have right away. The safety button is here. It keeps you from turning it on. If you pick it up by the handle at all, especially with gloves on, you're going to push this and do it. I set it on the ground, and instead of picking it up here, I made the mistake of picking it up like this, and just the fabric. I was not touching it, but the fabric pushed this in enough, and I had, you know, there's no room for my big bear paws in here. So I had grabbed the trigger, and when I picked it up off the ground, chain just started going, and I was like, oh crap. And I had something else in my left hand. Part of that's on me. Part of that is just terrible design. If you buy one of these, I don't know how other chainsaws are, because honestly, other than the plug-in one that is right there, you know, this is the only chainsaw I've ever used. But like this one over here, I like it better because you have to push this forward to engage the thing. That seems like a better idea than this little stupid button that takes no pressure whatsoever. And, you know, you get it about halfway in and it unlocks. It's locked. Yeah, you don't even get it halfway in and it unlocks. Not cool, not cool. Obviously, you know, well, I can't move that with one hand, sorry. I should have, when I sat it down, you know, push that forward or whatever to disengage everything, but poor design. I'm not happy with that. As far as the oil thing, you can't actually tell. Sorry, camera angle there. Like, I can't tell the oil in there. For one, the oil color doesn't really lend to it. But if you look down in there, it's pretty much full still. I filled it all the way up to the brim, so in 5 minutes continuous use, it used, you know, just the inch in that cap, which isn't bad, I don't think. It also does not like to lock. There we go. But yeah, that's kind of worthless because that frosted plastic doesn't really give you an idea what kind of oil's in there. Aside from that, you know, I'll get it on its side here for a second. You've got, well, so it is leaking oil because that's saturated. That was a complaint in the reviews. People said that, you know, I left it sit for a while and it leaked oil everywhere. So something to keep in mind. When I'm actually done with it, I'll probably pour most of this back into the bottle. I'll just cut the lid off of a 20-ounce bottle, or cut the, you know, the top portion up, make a little funnel, and pour it back in there, back into the chain oil bottle. You know, this is your tensioner. It's plastic. It does tension pretty good. I need to tighten it up after using it yesterday, but you can't get it as tight as I would like. You feel like you're going to strip the plastic out or something. Again, it's cheap. You know, everything's plastic nowadays, whatever. Then this, you know, the whole housing just comes off. I would do that right now, but I know there's a bunch of pine needles in there. I'll move outside to show you that. Other than that, you know, you've got the blade. The chain's all right. I don't know much about chainsaw chains, but it did kink a lot. It came packaged and it took me probably, a good 3 minutes to actually unkink everything, which was kind of annoying. That was even after I soaked it in oil overnight. So I don't know if that's common, but that's something I experienced with it. Yeah, so let me go ahead and get this outside and we'll open this up and I'll show you the innards as far as we can see them. Yeah, so we're just gonna unscrew this. I will say this has collected a ton of pine needles. Oh yeah, that's horrible. So yeah, it really likes to collect crap. Anyway, there you go. Just flimsy plastic. That's your tensioner. You got your little tensioner peg there. Yeah, that's pretty much it. But yeah, that's it. I mean, it's as someone that knows nothing about chainsaws, I'd say this is cheap. But I think it was 170, 180 bucks or something. And if you buy the battery on itself, it's a little less than half of that. So, you know, I'll put links down below in the doobly-doo. Would I recommend it? No, because it looks like gas chainsaws aren't much more. If you're going to actually need a chainsaw for something, I'd go ahead and do that. I just did this because I had the battery. And, you know, sometimes you find gems with this cheap Chinese stuff. Sometimes you don't. If you've ever watched AVE, he's taken apart some random Chinese tools from AliExpress. And he's found them to be pretty decent compared to, you know, some of the stuff out there that's sold in big box stores under recognizable brand names. Don't think this is the case. I don't think it has longevity. I don't think it's going to last long. If it gets me through this project, then cool. If not, yeah. So I'm going to end with showing you some of the stuff I cut yesterday. And, you know, if you like it, maybe buy one. I wouldn't. Kind of regret it, but I had the battery and I wanted to use it for something. So, yeah. Anyway, thanks for stopping by. Enjoy some B-roll.